This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Shanta. Shanta is an entertainer, but she also loves to be entertained, which is why she has Flow TV brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It's great for busy Shanta because she can control the time she watches her favorite shows, play back from the start in case she missed it, or even record with cloud video recording. And with her Flow services bundle, enjoys much more for much less. Visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
Welcome to this Barbados Today news update for Friday, October 7. Thank you for joining us. I'm Desmond Brown. Close to a dozen members of the Rastafarian community today stood in quiet solidarity with two members of the religious sect as they were due to be sentenced for refusing to send their children to school. Last month, the couple was found guilty of breaching Section 41 of the Education Act on the grounds that there was no record of the children attending formal classes. The children have since been placed in the custody of their paternal grandmother. However, the parents insist that their son and daughter were being homeschooled, and they say they are prepared to face their fates. With the matter due to come up in the District A court today, several Rastafarians gathered outside the courthouse this morning under the watchful eye of the police. The wait is finally over for severed National Conservation Commission workers. After a wait of well over 2 years, the severed NCC workers are receiving their compensation this afternoon. In handing down the highly anticipated ruling on July 15, the tribunal set up to investigate the matter said the decision by the NCC not to consult with the workers or the National Public Workers Union, along with its failure to recognize the union as the workers' bargaining agent, was a breach of their constitutional rights. It also said the last-in, first-out principle was arbitrarily applied in making some workers redundant. The tribunal found that the complainants were unfairly dismissed. A leading Barbadian conservationist says despite passage of the fisheries protection legislation 21 years ago, successive governments have done little to support the law to ensure that the island's marine resources are preserved. Dr. Robin Mahon, retired director of the Barbados Center for Resource Management and Environmental Studies, made this declaration last night during a lecture presentation on Barbados's environmental sustainability.
Our coastal marine systems remain seriously degraded by fishing and pollution. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, isn't it? As regards fishing, although the Fisheries Act was passed in 1995 and there have been several fisheries management plans, apart from some very basic regulations when the Act was first passed, there has been virtually nothing to ensure conservation of inshore fishery resources. Anyone can fish virtually anywhere and take as much fish of any kind and any size as they like.
Dr. Robin Mahon, speaking there at the Henry Fraser Lecture Theatre of the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill, last night. He noted that based on global experience and open access, unregulated fisheries is doomed to overexploitation.
This should not be seen, and I want to emphasize this, as a reason to vilify fishers. If there are no restrictions, they cannot be expected to stop fishing on their own. Furthermore, it is very important to recognize that depletion of these fish resources has contributed to reef degradation. Herbivorous fishes like parrotfish and surgeonfish that I spoke about earlier eat algae and keep it from overgrowing the reef and killing corals or making the substrate unfit for colonization by corals.
One regional activist is accusing some Caribbean politicians of being afraid to stand up for the interests of the Caribbean. Guyanese activist Gerald Pereira of the Organization of the Victory of the People, based in Georgetown, was speaking at a ceremony to mark the 40th anniversary of the downing of Cubana Airlines Flight 455. He paid tribute to past regional leaders, including Barbados's father of independence, Errol Barrow, his Trinidadian counterpart, Eric Williams, among others, who he said were instrumental in the regional integration movement.
Some political leaders and politicians are telling us that we are victims of historical and geographical circumstances. In other words, we live in the backyard of empire. But it's time that we, as much as that might be a geographical reality, it is time we free ourselves from what Wade Nobles called this conceptual incarceration and say, like the great Caribbean hero Morris Bishop, in nobody's backyard.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Get your paper, get your paper. Only 225, 220. Who? For what? That is Bear Stale News. I don't read about that on Barbados today since last night. That y'all only care do. 220. Who?
In regional news, in Guyana, still no date for the establishment of the Local Government Commission. The PPP earlier this week picketed the ministries of the presidency and communities for the setting up of the body. More in this report.
It's regrettable that there's been a slippage in the timetable that was previously announced by me and the commitment that we had given for the operationalization of this very important commission.
Minister Bulkan pointed to several factors which he says are responsible for the delay.
Among them being that the administration is giving very careful consideration to what will be its commissioners, to people this commission.
On the other hand, several weeks ago, the PPP submitted its representatives to sit on the commission. Those are former Town Clerk Carl Suba, political advisor and former PPP Local Government Minister Clinton Collymore, and former Minister of Local Government Norman Whitaker. According to Minister Bulkan, what is more important and should be focused on is that local democratic organs would have had their credentials renewed through the holding of the local government elections.
On the international scene, Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos has been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts to end the 52-year conflict with the left-wing rebels. The Nobel Committee praised him for a peace deal signed with FARC rebels but rejected by Colombians in a vote. Mr. Santos said he dedicated the award to all the victims of the conflict, and the FARC leader congratulated him. About 260,000 people have been killed and more than 6 million internally displaced in Colombia. The award did not include FARC leader Rodrigo Londono, who signed the accord. That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals or Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Desmond Brown.